You ever wonder what is the truth?
Three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
And the truth shall set you free!
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Point Blank Truth Podcast. And today we have a very special guest for a Veterans Talk segment, the Marine rapper. How you doing today, sir?
I am outstanding, sir. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, I got the opportunity through our mutual friend to say, hey, I like the Veterans Talk segment that you're doing.
Yeah.
I know the Marine rapper. And he's like, you know, Danny, I think you guys can have a great conversation. And I was like, yeah, I follow that guy. I listen to his music. I love it, man. So, yeah, dude, I'm excited to have you here and be able to talk to you. Like, you know, just to give you a little rundown of like the segment that we do with the Veterans Talk. I noticed that every time you see veterans on podcasts, it's always like, I was a war fighter. You know, it's like, I received 4 Purple Hearts. And it's like, you know, yeah, that happens. But there's a lot of us too who, you know, experienced nothing too crazy. However, we got out and we had to kind of go through the rigmarole and become civilians and figure out that transition. And I mean, I want to provide a platform for Marines, veterans to be encouraged to get out. Cause you know, when we transition the Marine, you always take advice from other, you know, we can speak on the Marine Corps, but I'm sure it's like this in every branch, but you get advice from other Marines and they tell you, don't get out. It's crazy out there. But all they know is the Marine Corps as well. So it becomes this stigma where you're terrified to get out and it's the fear of the unknown. And I don't know. I want to provide a platform where troops can listen and say, oh, okay, there are options. There are opportunities to be successful when we get out. And that's kind of what this is about, man.
I'm all about it, man. And I was just thinking about it the other day, bro. I was like, man, we need to start people who were like basically regular and not like heroes and stuff. We need to start telling our stories because there's a lot of guys out there. You see the people get caught up in the stolen valor and stuff like that. Be like, yo, I was just a pogue, man. I did the, you know, the 4:30 to 16:30. I got chow on base and I left, bro. As soon as I picked up NCO, you know, I actually sometimes I would try to run to the barracks so I didn't have to stand at attention during colors, all types of stuff. Like telling those like real stories. Like everybody's like, I was a hero and I was the best Marine, I was the best soldier, I was the best airman. Shut up. No, you weren't. No, you didn't do all that. You were thinking about chow too. You were trying to skip out of PT too. You were trying to beat the traffic on the way back. Don't lie, because there's not, you know, there's some. I'm not gonna say there's not some people who actually are like bona fide heroes, because I've seen some real badass people out there. But for the most part, there's a lot of regular people, mediocre people, who just went through the motions. Yeah, they just went through the motions, bro. They got their chow. They did what they needed to do. Their uniform was pressed or whatever. They got their hair cut and they was out. They're just like, I know what I got to do and that's all I'm going to do and I'm going to head out. Like, let's start telling regular troop stories. I like that because it's real. Like, you know what I mean? I did my deployment 6 months, but honestly, I was in the base the whole time. I was a fob, you know, a fob. You know, I'm not, I was, and I actually got out, but by accident, but like I feel if we do that, that's going to counterbalance and counteract all this fakery that's going around, because like, I did this and I'm a hero when I did this. It's like, first of all, we know you're not, because if you say you're a hero, you're probably not, because other people call you a hero, not you.
So
if you're calling yourself a hero, it's a red flag already, bro.
Totally.
So
I agree.
So we're here on that, bro. Like I can go off on that, like just regular. I think we need to celebrate that. Like the reason why those heroes were able to do their job, because there were support individuals like us to support them on regular stuff.
Right. I think it's even more important now because the military is in a different place, right? It's like a military. So a lot of the veterans getting out now are that story where it's like maybe you did a MEU or whatever, but for the most part, you know, you're on Camp Pendleton or you're on 29 Palms or wherever you're at, and you're just living your life. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's interesting, man. You know, I noticed that you actually joined in 2004,
Yeah. Yep.
and I came in 4 years after you, man. And you know, I know for you, for me, it was a different culture when I came in 08, but I'm sure for you, it was a completely different culture
Yeah.
because that was just that was a different breed of Marine, and I talk about it a lot. That is your generation, dude, is my favorite generation
Oh,
because you guys raised me.
thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you,
No,
bro.
I mean that, dude, from the bottom of my heart. It's like when I came in the Marine Corps, I was a hooligan, dude. I was a nightmare. I had no morals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like real war fighters in the initial invasion of
Yeah.
Fallujah and all that you know, whipped me into shape. So I don't know, man. Talk to me a little bit about the Marine Corps when you joined in 2004.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's crazy because every male in my family, my dad, my cousin, other cousins, uncle, all were in the Marines, and all of them had like artillery and infantry and stuff like that. My cousin did the air wing, but I ended up going to the recruiter, and I signed up and I got open contract. And then I went back and told my mom I got open contract. I signed up for the Marines. She said, "You did what?" She's all, "First of all, why would you sign up for the Marines? Anyways, go back and tell them you want a job to fit you, like, you know, a better job, a educated job." Because at that point, I actually went to college for 2 years. So I got my associate's degree in drafting and all of that. Because
Oh, I see. I see.
all my life I've been like an artist and creating and all that type of stuff. So I've always been an artist of sorts all my life. So I've always done artistry type of stuff. So when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an animator for Disney. I'm obsessed with Ninja Turtles. That's why you see the Ninja Turtle gaming chair and
Hell
everything.
yeah.
I'm just obsessed. I've been drawing cartoons since I was like 5 years old. So I've always wanted to do something artistic. And then I just recently got introduced to rap right before I went to the recruiter's office. So I was working at Taco Bell as a rapper. Like there's a position at Taco Bell where you wrap up the tacos. I was literally a rapper at the Taco Bell. And then she came in. She's like, "You really want to keep on rapping for Taco Bell, or do you want to, you know, be a man, et cetera, et cetera?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be a man. I want to be, you know, all that." And then she's like, "Come to my office." She put all those like tabs in front of me with the words and says, "What do you want? What do you prioritize? What do you want in life?" And I was like, none of that really, you know, bothers me or anything. I don't really care about none of that. I just want to be okay with if I'm okay dying, because it was right after 9/11.
Right.
So
Right.
I said, I have to psych my mind out whether I'm going to be okay dying for a cause that I don't know anything about right after 9/11. And so, because I would think I was in like the depth for a little bit before I, you know, ended up being in, you know, how you're in,
Mhm.
I think like it was fresh. It was like 2 years after, like it was really fresh, 9/11.
Yeah.
My mom was scared, everything. And so I said,
Was this were you already graduated and working, or were you still in high
yeah.
school at the
So
time?
I graduated, so I went to high school, went to college for 2 years while I was going to college for two
I see.
years.
I see. Yeah, that's right.
After I
That's
got
right.
off of college at night, I would work at Taco Bell.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay.
And
Okay. I'm
then,
trapped.
yeah. And then, so like I would see people at night and stuff like that. And then it was just hard for me or whatever. And like, far as like, I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I've always been innately a person that needs to like, it's crazy because like fit right into the Marine Corps. I have to hustle, 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 go, go, go. Nothing's good enough. I have my standards for myself is not good enough. Somebody be like, "Oh man, you're killing it." And I'm just like, in myself, I know I could do better every single time. So I'm always like, man, I got to do better. I got to do better. So when I went to the recruiter's office and signed up open contract, and that was my only concern. I was like, okay, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps, but like I need to be okay with dying and all that type of stuff. And then also, not to put another wrench in your gears, but I also need to get a good job. And she's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to do something in entertainment." She's like, "Entertainment?" I'm like, "Yeah." Imagine I'm 19. So I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like entertainment, and I'll just I rap, and you know I kind of like, you know, everybody was rap battling because of 8 Mile and stuff. I'm like, I'm a
Yeah.
rap, you know, I'm a rapper. I was not like, I was not where I'm at now. I wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah. You were just getting started.
Yeah, and not even now. I'm
The
on.
door and the floor. Go into the store.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was looking for some more, but I didn't want to end up being in the morgue, and I didn't know what I
Damn.
was fighting for. Of course. But the thing is like I was trying to figure out all that, like what I wanted to do, get an entertainment job, and if I was willing to die. So I got over the willing to die thing, and then she's like, "Go away. I will get you something in entertainment." And then she's like, "There's a thing called public affairs, okay? And what that is, it's a war reporter." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, you're gonna be like writing stories, so you still be writing kind of like lyrics and stuff like that." I was like, "Okay." She's like, "You're just a
She's
journalist.
really
You'll be on
selling you and shit.
yeah, you'll be on TV or the radio or something." Because I was so hyped. She's like, "You could actually go to school and end up on the radio, like Robin Williams and stuff. You could actually be on the radio doing the radio show." And I was like, "Oh, radio, that's dope," because they get my song together and everything. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." Anyways, I did that, got shipped off to MCRD San Diego. By the way, I grew up in Oceanside, California.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I was born in Newark, New Jersey, so over by New York. I was born
Yeah.
over there. But then I'm a military brat, so half of my time I went over to Oceanside, California, grew up over there, skateboarding by the beach, growing up with Marines, and I hated them because the Marines that I saw were drunk on the weekends. You know what I'm talking about. But those weren't the good quality Marines. It's the Marines stumbling out the bars, and and when I was there, there was a strip club down in Oceanside, California.
The Purple Church,
Purple
baby.
Church, if you know, you know. So I grew up in that type of environment, and then where if you go down to Oceanside now, there's a movie theater, but before if you're an OG, it wasn't a movie theater. It was a big grass field with a whole bunch of homeless and bums in the middle of
Oh, where the Regal
Yeah,
theaters
where
are.
the
Yeah.
Regal
Have you been
Theater-
there? Have you been there recently?
Yeah,
dude?
yeah,
It changed again.
different. I haven't been there recently. The last time I've been there was like a couple months ago, like 6 months ago. But like
Okay, okay.
I was there when it was OG. They used to call it Coast Highway.
Yeah.
I know Oceanside.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? So like anyway, so I grew up in Oceanside being a skateboarder, working at Taco Bell as a rapper, rapping, and then I end up going to boot camp. I go to boot camp. My drill instructor, like halfway through, my drill instructor was like, "I know you want to quit. I know you want to quit. You know what? You can just hop over that fence and go home. I know you're here." And I was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "How did he know?" But then I realized later on, he looked through my SRB to mess with me. You know,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
record. He looked through my records to mess with me. I was like, "What the heck?" Anyway, so I go through boot camp and all that, and then oh, now I know what happened. I go through boot camp, and they put me on duty at night. Okay, put me on duty at night, and a drill instructor from another barracks came by. He's like, "Report your post." And I go to report my post, and he's like, "Wait a minute, what's that in that green because we call it a green monster. For you guys who don't know, it's called a green monster because it's a green book, blank pages with lines across, just how you would do in school, but it's a military style, and you're supposed to write all the records. This is an official document." I don't know because I'm just a recruit, but it's an official document where you're supposed to be logging in the most important things of the day. Inside that important document, an official document that people have used in court cases, all types of stuff, I'm writing rap lyrics. He's all, "You're writing rap lyrics?" He's all, "We got something for you tomorrow, rap recruit."
No, that was what they called you?
Yeah,
How long did that stick with you?
Oh, it was like I think starting a second phase or whatever. That's when they, when they
Yeah.
give you a little freedom or whatever. It was like second
Yeah.
phase or whatever, beginning. He's like, "All right, rap recruit, I got something for you." So anyway, we start to do the rifle thing before we go to the rifle range up there at up the Camp Pendleton up north and stuff. And then they're like, "Rap recruit," and how you're on the bleachers and a whole bunch of in a group of all types of Marines and stuff like that. Well, not Marines, recruits. So it's all us
Recruits, yeah.
recruits crammed into this bleacher. And they're like, "Rap recruit," and I'm just like, "Oh man, rap recruit, you know who you are." And I don't know because I'm like, how does these drill instructors know everything at every time? It's because they talk to each other, but at the time you're like, man, these guys are like psychic. How do they know?
Yeah, you're like,
You're like,
they're
"Rap
animals, dude.
recruit, rap recruit. We know you've been rapping overnight, writing in the SRBs, writing in the green monsters, all that. Hey, stand up." "Yes, sir. Rap right now. Shut up right now. Sit down right now. Rap recruit. Stand up right now. Rap right now. Shut up right now. Sit down right now." Like just randomly through the
Yeah, you
the
just-
rifle training. They're teaching you how to diss and ass the rifles, right?
Yeah.
And while we're all trying to learn to diss and ass, they get the comedy relief in the middle and stuff, and I was comedy relief.
Yeah.
And then I'm
That's
all
hilarious,
rapping
dude.
and everything, and they really mess with me. Um, but then, like years later, I ran into that same drill instructor that told all the other drill instructors that I rap in the club down in San Diego. I'm like, drill instructor Sergeant Bomba, what's up? And he's like, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. And then he starts, he had his little loose Miami looking shirt on, and he's like finding girls and dancing with them. I was like, oh, okay, this is what drill instructors do on their time off. And of course, he's killing it because he looks sharp, clean, cologne, shirt. As Marines,
Yeah.
when we clean up, it's game over. It's game
Yeah.
over. Let alone blues. If we in blues, it's really over. But like, when we're in our civvies, everything's pressed, it's clean. He smelled good, fresh haircut. The ladies was all on it.
And
But
you're still like, that was my drill instructor. Hell
no,
yeah.
I didn't say nothing. It was just like a kind of like,
But in your mind, you know what I mean? You're like,
I
yeah,
was like,
that dude trained me. That's right.
yeah, he's cool. He's cool. Because the thing is, he's the one who snitched on me to the other drill instructors, but
Yeah.
he was cool to me. He like anytime we'd be marching past his platoon, he would like look at me and give me a wink, like, yeah, like I'm here to like mess with you, but it's because of my enjoyment, and I think it's funny, but it's for your own good kind of thing. Like it was like, some drill instructors, you're like, man, these guys are evil, but this guy was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna mess with you like a brother, like a little brother. And
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. But yeah, and then I became a combat journalist, and then when they're giving out the jobs, they're like, all right, and all right, they're like, all right, rap recruit, your job is going to be a journalist, private joker, like Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
If you've seen Full Metal Jacket, there's a character in the movie, for all you guys who haven't seen it, there's a character in Full Metal Jacket who is a reporter who's attached to the infantry, and his job is to write stories on the infantry. And they don't like him because no one likes press when you're in the infantry and patrols and stuff like that. Something I found out a lot later. I'll get into that in a second. But they do not like public affairs. They don't like combat camera.
Like, oh, here comes combat camera. God damn it.
And there's no public affairs in combat camera. You're just all combat camera. Like that's what they call you. Hey, combat camera, get over here, take a picture of me. Like I gotta send it to my girl, whatever. Anyway, so they're like, private joker, and I was like, why you calling me a joker? And then I found out later, but they were saying that I was a reporter from the Full Metal Jacket movie. Anyway, so I finished boot camp. After I finished boot camp, I went to SOI, right? I went to SOI to do the little infantry training. Then I went to reporter school over there in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, Fort George G. Meade, an army base. It's where all the reporters go and stuff.
How
So
long?
I-
How long was that?
It was like 3 months, but then you get an opportunity to do a video and a radio test. So they get you in a room and they say, all right, here's a script. We need you to say this script. And depending on how you say this script, you're going to be in or out of the program of the video or the radio, right? So all you guys out there, if y'all ever heard a black person speak from the hood, we say certain words certain ways. It doesn't matter who you are, right? I was teased all my life that I spoke proper all my life, but there are some words that I still kept. And one of those words is the thing that tripped me up. So I read the script and they said, you failed. And I said, what did I fail on? They said, you said axe. I said, what? You said axe. I said, yeah, ask you a question. They're like, nah, it's ask. Ask. So if to this day, if you hear any of my raps and you hear me say ask, it's only because I failed the radio test.
So now you fixed it. You're like, I won't feel that again.
So I sometimes when I'm rapping really fast, I'll say ask. Just for an internal thing. So if you ever hear me say ask, it's because I failed the radio test and the video test. So instead of going to Iwakuni or Japan and be on video and have you ever seen the Marines when they're reporting the news and stuff? I would have been over there in Japan reporting the news on TV, on the radio, all that. Nope. They said, you know what? You failed the test. So you need to go back to the schoolhouse. I go back to the schoolhouse. They go, you know what? You got a first class PFT. We're going to send you to a very prestigious unit. The best. You probably know where this is going. We're going to send you to the best. Actually, it's the first. It's called 1st Marine Division.
Yeah,
Bruh, they send me to 1st Marine Division back in my hometown as a combat journalist for infantry. Bro,
that's hilarious,
is
dude.
that
You
funny?
ended
So
up right back in
back to
Oceanside.
Oceanside with infantry. And if you know the demographic of infantry, it's mostly white people, some Mexicans, and maybe 1 or 2 black guys. And I was the black guy. You know how it goes. Marines is
Right.
white and Mexican.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
maybe a couple black dudes.
yeah,
Army's black, but like Marine Corps is white and Mexican in Spanish.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Ramirez Hernandez, with the name tape line. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Rodriguez Hernandez.
It's like,
Or you
what?
or you get the Puerto Ricans like from the island that
Oh,
learned English in
man.
boot camp, and you're like, damn.
You could tell.
But they know all the acronyms though.
And
you know?
the country white dudes who never seen a black guy in their life. They seen us on TV, they seen us on MTV or a basketball game. And so I'm in boot camp and they looking at me. I'm like, "What, man, what you looking at, bro?" And they're like, "Hey man, sorry man. I just never seen nobody colored in real life." Colored?
Yeah, you're like,
You
what
know?
the fuck?
No, but obviously we, I got off. Now I don't even care what anybody calls me after boot camp. They call. It's funny when people give me insults on the internet. I'm like,
Yeah, you got to come much harder than that, dude.
I'm like, if out of Marine Corps boot camp, no one has topped it. They're too creative these days. They're too creative with the insults. Bro, like my drill instructor made me scrub white tiles 1 by 1 singing Boots Across Africa. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like and you guys on the internet think you're insulting me? Bro. And that was just boot
you
camp.
have no idea.
We don't even need to talk about the fleet or the
Yeah,
deployment.
and like the infantry stuff and all that.
Oh, infantry, man. And yeah,
It's a different world. Yeah, people don't know that. Like everybody thinks that, oh, when you're a Marine, you're a Marine. No.
no.
If you go to an infantry unit, you see the difference in the Marine Corps. There's a big difference between like the air wing and then infantry.
And Miramar, I would go up to Miramar sometimes. I'm like, what the heck? And they would look at me like I was like a a POW returning back to the States or something. Because they're like, you don't eat like this? And they're like having choice. They're like, yeah, I would like the roast beef with the Swiss for my sandwich.
Yeah, the chow halls
No,
are
no,
way
no.
better in the air wing.
Light mail. What? I'm like, what? I'm like, they say, here's your stroganoff and get out of here.
Yeah.
For stroganoff, I promise you, probably like, I mean, they got better over the years that, they cleaned it up or whatever. But when I first got in 2004, it was right out of the tricolor. We were like the first ones to get the digital.
Oh, to get the new digital print.
Yeah, we were like the first 2003, 2004 got the new digital. Not everybody got it. But like by the time I went through, my platoon went through, we all had digital, but it was like, why do they got the tricolor? You know what I mean? It was just like, it was just,
Oh, it was like a mix.
it was
I
just
see.
like right out, like we were the first, like,
Yeah.
because it was like
Man, that's
everybody
crazy.
overseas had the tricolor. When
Yeah,
you think about it, 2001, 2000, they were just coming out of that.
Yeah.
And so, but it's just a different world in the fleet and stuff like that. But like, but anyway, so they sent me back to the Marine Corps, base camp Pendleton. I assigned to the infantry I assigned to the infantry battalion and all that type of stuff. But when you're not on deployment, reporters get fapped out or transferred, for you guys who don't know all the lingo, get fapped out to the actual base. So I went to the general's building, and down at the general's building on Pendleton, they had this thing it was a newspaper called The Scout. So we would write stories and take pictures around base. It could be a soccer game on the weekend or whatever, or the Marine Corps basketball team, it could be whatever, but we would actually, be reporters amongst the base. We go to the air wing, we just report on whatever. And sometimes we do commentaries and all types of stuff, but we just be regular reporters. There's a newspaper for the base, so that's what we do. But when we deploy, we would fap out back to the wing. If we're air wing, we'd fap out back to infantry and stuff. And so they said, hey, we're going back to Iraq. Who wants to go? Get me out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I didn't go that. No, I do not want to get no stolen valor on that. It didn't go like that. The first time, I got it.
I got you.
I was a poke.
Clarify.
Poke alert.
Me too, dude. I'm a radio operator, dude. I was
Oh, you 29 palms? Stumps?
Nah, I was with 1-5,
But
but
you
I
went
was
to
a
29.
RO.
You went to
Yeah.
20.
Oh, for the schoolhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For the
Yeah.
schoolhouse, I
Yeah.
know exactly what it
Yeah.
is, and we have a more of a connection than you think. I'll tell you in a second. But anyway, so the first time to Iraq, they're like, all right, all the boots are going to Iraq. Anybody have a problem with it? And like, of course, we're not going to say anything because we want to go. We want to get some. So I went to Iraq. The first,
Isn't that interesting? Is like I talk about that a lot. Is
yeah,
when the people who joined after the war started, a
yeah,
lot of us joined like to go. Like
yeah.
we're here to go, dude. And then also like the culture at that time, it was almost if you didn't deploy, you were dodging it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was almost like frowned upon. The last thing you wanted to be is like a corporal walking around without a deployment at
Uh,
all in that
with like
time.
with the mustard and ketchup on your chest only.
Yeah, you just
And
got your GWA ribbon.
and you don't and if you don't have a good cookie, they looking at you like, So you've been on base, you've been garrison, your uniform looks clean and good, and you don't have a service stripe, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Get out of my face. So all of us boots went and stuff like that. I was like, man, I love it being over here because I get to do my job and stuff like that. Don't get it twisted. It was scary. Wasn't no hero at all. I'm just saying that like I was over in Iraq. I was a city away from Fallujah and stuff like that. I, yeah. Yeah, I did.
If you know, well, yeah, because you got out in 2014. Like
Yeah.
when I went to Afghanistan, I went in 2010, and they just started giving combat action ribbons if you were in the vehicle and the vehicle got hit with an IED.
Yeah.
And that was like the up armored vehicles.
Crazy.
Back then, when you went to get a combat action ribbon, you had to like really, yeah, you had to really get some. Yeah.
You had to shoot, and it's crazy because the reason why a lot of my guys got combat action is because I took a picture.
I see. Yeah, because it's evidence. You're like, I got it.
So,
I got you right there.
It's such a crazy story, bro. Like, do you know who Brian Stan is?
It sounds familiar.
UFC fighter.
Oh yeah, Brian Stan. Yep.
He was my lieutenant.
Really?
So I was
Do you guys keep in touch at all still or no?
nah, but what happened was I fapped to First Marine Division and I got attached to a Lejeune, Camp Lejeune. That's how you say it. It's French.
Lejeune, that's right.
Lejeune. You go to I went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I went over there and I got attached to 3-2. I was with 3-2. Then I went on deployment, and the way it went for me, it was just like I would go to the different platoons in the different companies. I was like, hey, yo, you guys got anybody going out today? Can I just hitch a ride? And I would hitch a ride out to the base out in town or wherever it was, or the patrol if it was a foot patrol. I was like a floater. Like I would just go wherever, right? And they're like, yeah, man, you could go with us, bro. So I go with his unit. I go out there, and bro, it was so hot out there, and it was during Ramadan, and they're just like, yo, it's too hot out here, too dangerous, man. Just go in the hooch, lay on the cot, and go to sleep, bro. All right. So I go to sleep, and next thing I hear is,
Oh shit.
so
Yeah.
it was during Ramadan. They said I couldn't go out with the unit that patrolled out. They ended up getting attacked. The Iraqi police, or I think Iraqi police or army forces. I'll say forces, so it's accurate. I know they get catching everybody for stolen valor out here.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't worry, dude. Don't worry. We believe you. Dude.
Yeah, they're on the bridge. They were on the bridge. I have photos to prove it, so whatever. The car got suicide bombed on the bridge. At the same time, across the way, the civil affairs guy got shot through his mouth like 50 Cent. He fell to the ground, and like his puddle of blood. And then when we got attacked at the same time, when they were shooting at our building, they're like, "Oh snap, we're getting attacked!" Yada yada. Everybody throwing their flags, their Kevlars, all that. And like let's get on the defense and stuff like that. Anyways, they're like, "Hey, camera guy, come over here. We're gonna shoot from the rooftop and stuff like that." I'm like, "All right," and I'm like, "Of course, it's 5 months in. I'm not thinking about anything, bro. Like nothing." So I climb up the ladder on the side of the building because we took over the house. So I climb up the ladder. We're all climbing up really quick and stuff like that. And we get in the prone on top of the rooftop, and we're all like in a different formation and stuff. And I'm in the prone, and I'm taking pictures backwards. So the camera's leaning on my shoulder backwards, and behind me is the guys kneeling, shooting across the way, in kneeling down in kneeling position, right? and I'm snapping this photo. And I'm just like, this is crazy, bro. They're like, cameraman, you want to shoot? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, go ahead. And so I'm shooting. At those times, like, you're right. If you did your homework, those times we could not shoot unless we were shot at and had positive ID.
Right.
So imagine that somebody could shoot at us. If we don't get positive ID, we cannot shoot back. That's not a combat action. Combat action is we got shot at, sir. We got shot at. Or first arm, we got shot at. Oh, really? Bet. Okay, what's up then? It came over from over there. They would look. Yeah, there's a guy right there. Okay, cool. Commence, and that's how it went with us. So then I shot and stuff like that, but it was only because I went in the hooch. I fell asleep, and the patrol that I was supposed to leave with left.
I see. So your fob was getting attacked at the time, and you were just
Fob
there.
was getting attacked, and I was there.
Yeah.
And I just was in the wrong place at the right time, I guess what you'd call it.
Yeah.
And then so I'm taking pictures, and then so imagine, when we're sleeping the hooch, do we have our blouses on? Do we have everything on? No. So there were some guys with the flak over their skivvy with their Kevlar. Some guy had eyebrow. So the photo shows that. So we're all like mismatch.
Yeah.
So the photo shows that, but they're getting it, bro.
I was gonna say that's some war dog shit.
No, it was dope.
Dope.
It was dope. I'm glad I got that for them. You know what I mean? But you know what happened? Hey, sir, we did what we had to do or whatever, and then
the Marines aren't even in proper
uniform.
What the fuck, man?
So they were more worried that we weren't in proper uniform after we got attacked than us getting attacked, bro. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And you knew exactly where it was going, didn't you?
Dude, it's so stupid. It's like, hey,
it's
dude, the first sergeant wants to see you. You're like, yes, first sergeant. I saw that photo of you returning fire. Did you shave that morning?
Nope.
You're like,
nope, we didn't shave.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Hey, no, we saw the stubble, man. Be like,
yeah. You're like,
I'm glad you alive so I can chew you out, right? Like stuff like that. No, yeah, like so. I love that you understand the situation. So it's like, I'm glad you can relate, but I miss those situations because they're funny now. But when it happened, you're like, man, ain't this some BS, man?
Yeah, you're like, these motherfuckers, I can't believe this shit. I don't know, dude, but just things like that. Yeah, you're right. It's unique. It's specifically unique to the culture of the Marine Corps.
And you only, if you know, you know. Some people just, if you know, you know. And that's how it's like. But it's crazy how some of these people get on these platforms and they do this stolen valor thing, and it's only the only reason they can get away with the stolen valor thing is because they're on platforms with people who have no idea.
Yeah, they don't know. Yeah.
Because immediately, if I was lying, you would know. Immediately, you would know this.
Bro, I saw this, because recently Tim Kennedy apologized for some stuff that he said, and I seen a clip from it, and like, I don't know if it was AI. Maybe it was AI. I don't know, but I just feel like if I would have heard this before, I would have questioned it. Huh? He's like, a lot of dead bodies around me. Like, just the story is like, it's, you know what I mean? It's, but yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. Today is September 11th. Yeah. So we pre-recorded this from when it goes out. But yeah, man, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, dude? Like, I think back now about all of that. And I remember being a kid watching, people come home in body bags, and I still felt compelled to join. I still wanted to get into the fight. Yeah. I think it's a little bit different for me because I grew up out there. Like, it was very close to home when that happened for me. I have an uncle who was in the World Trade Center. He survived.
Oh, you grew up in New York?
I grew up just outside of New York. Yeah, I'm from Connecticut.
Okay. Oh, the East Coast. Okay, so East Coast too. Okay.
Yeah. I'm an East Coast guy, but I know out here in most of the country, when it happened, it was like, dang, that's crazy. But like, when I think back to my childhood, bro, it like seriously impacted me. Like, I had a teacher who lost her dad there, who was a firefighter. Man. Kids in my school whose parents passed. It was a very real thing, and I was only 11 at the time, man. I was in 6th grade. And, right then and there, I knew I was going to join. I didn't pick the Marine Corps until the last, until I spoke to the Marine recruiter. But I just always felt like I was going to go fight the war. And even, dude, even like, I remember I used to get annoyed, like with the Loose Change documentary and all the people talking about how, you know, oh, it was a setup, you know, all this crazy talk of this stuff. And, you know, I don't really get into conspiracy theories like that. I understand them. But at the end of the day, I think about it and it's like, well, people still died there and that still impacted me. And even when I was out there, dude, it was like, I didn't even really think about that. I didn't think about home. I thought about just surviving with the brothers who were out there with me.
What you mean overseas? Or you're talking about overseas?
Yeah. When I was in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
When I went to Afghanistan, it's like, I didn't think about 9/11. I wasn't thinking about like protecting my family. It was like, you know, it's almost like when you get out there, the first thing that happens is almost like a culture shock.
Yep.
And then for me, it was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. Are we going to land right into like firefights and stuff?
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know. None of us knew. All the Marines, I deployed with LAD battalion. And at the time,
I know that.
They had only been to Iraq at the time. So even for them,
you said 1-5?
I started with LAD, I deployed with LAD, and then from LAD, I moved to 1-5.
Okay.
So I deployed to Afghanistan with LAD, and then when I went to 1-5, I did a bunch of Muse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
doesn't it always sound like when people ask, it feels like they're like grilling you? Are you sure?
Nah. You know what? I think it's good though, like for the clarification. Yeah.
I think we have to know. I think we need to do that though. I think we need to do that now.
And also it's like, I think if you're a real Marine, you know, like you actually appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because I did say 1-5 earlier, right? And then now I'm saying LAD, and you're like, wait, hold on. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I don't know. When you were out there, like for example, when we were in Iraq, the whole weapons of mass destruction thing is like we didn't find weapons of mass destruction. You talk to a lot of infantry guys, sniper guys, they're like, dude, we were out there like protecting poppy fields and stuff. It was just like what the war was about was something different for us when we were actually out there. You know, and I don't know. I was just curious what your thoughts are out there when you were out there. If it was different for you, did you ever think about like, oh man, we're here because of the World Trade Center, or like what was that like, man?
Well, the poppy thing was Afghan for me because I deployed to Afghan too. I didn't tell you, but I went in. I actually went to Afghan in 2008.
Okay.
So I went to I was at Camp Barber. I think they changed the name so many different times, but it was camp, what was it called?
The big one?
Bastion.
Yeah. That was the British Air Base, right?
That's where we were at, and I served with the British, and I served with Canadians and all types of stuff. And
back then it was probably just HESCO barriers and tents, right?
It was straight up just bare bones minimum. It was crazy. We did double shifts. We did hospital security. So like if anybody laid an IED and blew us up and they hurt themselves at the same time, we had to watch them too. I could tell you that story later. But anyway.
Yeah.
Man, the experience was just surreal. So like Afghan is where we did the poppy thing, and we're protecting poppy fields specifically because it was a part of their whole infrastructure. And if you know, there's a whole conversation we could have on that, but I won't go there. But let's go back to Iraq. There's just a whole bunch on that. You know what I mean?
There's a whole bunch. Yeah.
But let me just go back to Iraq. I was there in 2006. So I went there like after I got to my base. I stayed on base for maybe like a year and a half, because then we went to 29. I went to 29 Palms to do the CACs and everything, the training, so they got basically so they could get used to a reporter and a person like with a camera right next to them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was there too, and then I deployed to Habbaniyah. Habbaniyah is not too far away from Fallujah, so I went to Habbaniyah, and then I went to different places and stuff. So my experience it was the culture shock at first. I was like, okay, is things gonna blow up when I land? No, that's not gonna happen. Okay, cool. We got bussed out and then took convoys to wherever we're going. And then we got there and they're like, this is your hooch, this is your rack, lay here. And then, when we go out on patrols or whatever, we go on patrols. My first patrol was in an Amtrak at dark with MVGs. And I was,
that's crazy.
And I was point man.
Yeah.
So it was, it was. So when you hear me say stuff like that, I think that the grunts were playing a joke on me, because they're like, man, if anybody has to die, put him up there. We don't want to die first. So I'm thinking I'm a badass. Nah, I'm there because they don't want to die.
And for the listeners, just so you understand what he's talking about, is like you would go on patrols at night and you don't want to draw attention to yourself, so you can't go with headlights. So you go on a patrol where you're driving like 50, 60 miles an hour, but headlights off and your night vision goggles on. That's crazy.
And
you know?
we didn't have the new ones at that time. We had the one where it converged into the one unicorn.
Oh,
thing.
where you're just looking.
You know what I'm talking about? You're like,
Yeah, not the ones that flip down and they're on both
nah,
eyes.
man,
It was just the one. You're just looking.
when
That's hilarious.
yeah, and then some people had iron sights, and it was like a blessing to get ACOGs, and man,
Yeah, I know, dude. Now ACOG is like the norm.
The norm.
You know? Yeah, it's like the norm.
But,
yeah.
but back then we didn't have the sights and everything. So basically, what I'm talking about, y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, is like our gear wasn't state of the art right when we got to Iraq. Everybody was all mismatched. Some people had regular sights and scopes and stuff, and some people didn't. I had a big old musket for a rifle. Had a M16 like A2.
They're the old school one. Not
Yeah,
even
it's like bigger than me. Yeah. But like the thing is like I had more gear than anybody else, and you know how it is being a radio operator. Like you'd have the backpack, you'd have your pack, you'd have something else, and then you'd have
all the batteries with radios.
Yeah, it's already heavy. Your back hurts, and then I had the big musket M16A2.
Musket, you call it a musket.
Then the cameras back then weren't is how they are now. Like the DSLRs, the cameras that we use now. I had the big Canons. It was like a brick. So I had that too. When I was holding that, and they're like, you better not drop that. And then the strap was attached to a carabiner on my flak. So I'm just a mess until I learned how to do everything. And the first one was like, hey man, you need to square yourself away, tighten this up. You know what I mean? All that type of stuff. But like, yeah, man, when I got there, I was scared or whatever. But after first patrol, I was like, okay, that's cool. I could do anything. And then so like the day stuff was easy after that. And then to get my mind off of every day, I would want to go out all the time. And it really sucked because I was the reporter, I had to report on everything. So that meant when I went out on patrols, people would die. And when people would die, I had to report on their death and do their memorial obituary type of story.
That's probably rough, dude.
So people didn't understand, like, I was already an outsider. I was the minority. It was white boys and Mexicans. I was the one black dude who stood out, and they thought I was all an elitist because I had a camera and I could go anywhere I wanted. I didn't have to ask for a sergeant or whatever. Right. I was with the colonel. Like I was always with the PSD. I was with the colonel's unit, and I was with him, and I answered to the admin gunny, and I didn't really have to answer to nobody. So I was like moving around. So they already thought that I thought I was like, my nose up in the air. So nobody really liked me and they hated me. But they ended up loving me at the end because all those memories, all those memorial stories, all those pictures on patrol, they wouldn't have had them if I didn't go.
Yeah.
But imagine you have these country boys from Georgia out in the sticks and stuff, and like, they don't know me, and I get it. So like, I had to find out ways to communicate and how to talk to people and relate to them, even though I look different. So right. One of my favorite things was I was a reporter with an infantry grunt unit that was mostly white and Mexican, because the thing is I got to talk to different people and I learned how to relate and have empathy with them and be like, all right, bro, I get what you're saying, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually they would give me, my story. Oh, you got to do something for your little picture story thing. All right, come over here, bro, and let me tell you what happened. All right, we did this, da, da, da. And then eventually they opened up. But
once you settle in, right?
But I was a black sheep, like literally in so many different ways. Like I was just like a black sheep. They wasn't feeling me at all. Like
those country dudes are like, hey man, I don't know how you feel about combat camera, but he's good to go. I tell you what.
Yeah. Afterwards, I was good to go. Yeah. Afterwards, I was good to go. Like I was good to go when they needed pictures and they needed stories and stuff. They're like, oh, hey, my mom called me, when they do the call back home or whatever, like the 5-minute call. Hey, I heard you put me up on they had a website, wasn't social media in 06. It was
the unit website.
Yeah. I mean, there was Facebook and stuff, but it wasn't like
it wasn't that popular. I feel like it was MySpace back then. No?
Yeah, it was MySpace. Nobody was on their phone like today. It was you would have internet time. You know what I mean? Like it was like, hey, I'm gonna go use it. It was literally like I'm gonna use the internet for 15 minutes. Think about that.
Yeah,
I'm going to go have so I have 30 minutes. I'm going to go have a call for 5 minutes, go to mail, and I'm going to go on the internet, and I'm going to, flirt with Susie back home or whatever.
Yeah.
Who left me, but I don't know yet. You know what I mean?
And sometimes those things, you're right. Like she's like cheating on you.
Yeah.
And it's so funny is sometimes like those little call stations, I know in Afghanistan, it was like, there's like a line around the corner and you're like, Dude, do I want to wait? Like, I remember there was a time when I stopped calling home because I was like, bro, it's just not
Yeah.
like I'm gonna be here for 3 hours and then I'm gonna be annoyed because when I call, they're not ready for me to call, so
No.
nobody answers. So I just waited in line for 3 hours. I could have went, showered,
Sorry.
watched the movie, and got some sleep. I got a patrol in like 3 hours now.
Yep.
What a waste of time. I don't know.
Yeah, you
It's
learn this. You
interesting,
learn it.
man.
And I learned the
Yeah,
hard way.
yeah.
I learned the hard way how to pack my bag and everything. And then I was like, oh man, I became so good at packing. And like when people see me now, they're like, wait a minute, you're leaving for a week somewhere? Like when I go on the plane and stuff, I'm like, yeah. They're like, why do you only have a bag? I was like, no, everything's in here. You know, like the
You're
skivvy.
like, your skivvy rolling thing?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Dude, my wife gives me shit because that's how I like load all my drawers. And then the other day I saw her doing it. I'm like, yeah,
Uh huh.
leaves a lot of room, huh?
Yeah. You roll the underwear and the shirt and everything all up and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then like me, I do all that, and then I put my electronics on top. I'm a pro at this point. I put my
Uh-huh.
electronics on top because I take my microphone and my rap stuff with me.
Oh,
Because
I see. Yeah.
because they say take it out, so I could take my mic out and then I put it in the thing because I don't want to be held up at the airport. So I put it in
Yeah.
the thing and I go through. Man, I go through faster than people with like kids and stuff like that. And I'm like, yep. 'Cause I have my laptop, my boots
Yeah.
off,
You know
everything.
how it goes.
I
Yeah.
am ready, bro. But the Marine Corps just prepares you for so much. But yeah, the deployment, to kind of like sum up your question and what you're asking me, is like, yeah, man, it was a crazy experience. And I learned a lot. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to appreciate life. I learned how to appreciate the small things, whether it's talking to somebody. And like, yeah, man, for me, it was a brotherhood type of situation. It was definitely wasn't a thing like, oh, you're black, you're white, you're Mexican, this and that. At first it was, because, boot camp and they pointed out. But when you're over there overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, it's not like you're blind, but you're more so like focused on
Yeah.
the person.
It's funny is like, and people are gonna freak out when I say this, but it is what it is, bro. It's like acceptable discrimination that happens. It's like
Sure.
somebody says something wild to you, and then you're like, whatever, fuck you. And then it's like,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
almost it's like when brothers clown each other.
It's
You know what I
brotherly
mean?
love. It like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they're not clowning you, they don't like you.
They don't like you. Yeah,
You
yeah,
better,
that's true.
yeah, you want them to clown you. You
Yeah.
want them to clown you because it would be horrible if they don't clown you. They need to clown you.
So I know that you did 10 years,
Yeah.
right? What
Take
What were you gonna say?
about 10 years because I went on terminal leave.
yeah.
I gotta keep it. Listen, I'm not getting caught up by nobody out here with no stolen valor claims because they check my SRB, check my records. They'll be like, he did 9 years and 8 months, liar. Nah. I went on terminal on the holiday season. I stacked it behind the holiday season with Christmas leave and everything. So when you see the discrepancy, it don't say exactly 10 years. It's because I took leave, y'all. I'm
Yo,
playing
are
with-
you do
I'm not
do
playing
people
with
really
nobody.
do
I'm
people
not
really
playing with-
try to check you like that?
Yeah, no,
They
no,
play
no.
semantics.
No,
It's
no,
crazy.
no, not me, because I think I'm probably one of the most, like, I talk about my service all the time in my raps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been doing this it's about to be 10 years next year because the first song I dropped was Star Spangled Banger and it went crazy. But like, after I'll tell you about that, but I went to music school, but like, because I put so much in my music and I put details, I'm like, I was in Camp Lejeune and I did this and I say stuff that
Yeah.
only Marines would understand
Only
what I'm
Marines
talking about.
know. Yeah.
And so why haven't I been called out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why haven't I been called out on my service? It's because I'm not lying and saying I'm Rambo, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I am a pope
Yeah.
that ended up being in crazy situations, and I had survivor's guilt because I was like, man, those infantry dudes were so badass. Why am I still here, bro?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I kept my head on a swivel one time, and I didn't get hit by this and hit by that.
Does that shit still fuck with you a little bit, man? Sometimes I catch myself like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I don't know. I think that a day doesn't go by where I don't think about something from like Afghanistan or my service or, isn't that weird?
100%. It is weird, bro. It's like, man, and it's just like there was one time, I'll tell you a quick little story. There was one time I was supposed to go out and my gunny was just like, yo, you need to rest and refit because you've been going hard. Hey, take some time off to take like a shower. You know how it is. We're cleaning ourselves with baby wipes, so you need to clean up. So go take a shower or whatever. He's sure? He's like, yeah. So the one patrol that I didn't go on, and I would usually be sitting there, one of the guys on that side, he got shot and killed.
Mm-hmm.
So those type of things kind of like, what? But I feel like his name is Corporal Michael C. Ledsome from Texas, by the way. Solid dude, man. He's a country guy.
It's crazy how you remember his name, where he's from, and it never escaped you.
I would never. Oh man.
Yeah.
I will never forget it, because I was, God chooses or whatever. But I usually ride right there because they're like, hey, camera guy, sit there, and it was with him and the security detachment with the colonel and stuff, and I would usually ride with him, and he'd be like, hey man, you can ride with me, and just like, he didn't know me from anything. We didn't come from the same background at all. You know what I mean? Didn't look nothing like he's blonde hair, white dude, you know what I mean? Slight tan, Texas. Like, back in the States, they'd be like, what, you guys can get along? You know what I mean? But like, it's like, yeah, man, these are my bros, bro. What are you talking about? Like, I don't see any difference. What are you talking about? But like, the public would see that. But like, I look at it as he literally saved all of us by doing that. You understand? Because I could have been in that spot.
Yeah.
So I remember his middle. You get what I mean? I remember his middle initial.
Yeah.
What he did. He was driving we did a whole bunch of stuff, over there, driving trucks and things like that. But he would always let me drive in his truck. But yeah, I could never forget nothing like that, man. Those are some unique individuals who gave their life for sure.
Let me ask you, brother. Let me ask you, the transition out, right? Like so you did almost 10 years. That's a long time, man. You had a stint of a life before that, right? After high school,
college,
try to figure it out. You went to college. You did it was community college, I'm assuming that you went to?
It doesn't exist anymore, but it's called, I don't know if you heard of ITT Tech.
Yeah, I remember ITT.
Yeah, I did community. I did computer aided drafting, so I was doing drafting and schematics and all types of stuff. So I know all that electrical and all that type of stuff. And so like, I would do all those things, and then like, I would create these like the little pieces and stuff on the actual computer, and it was like state of the art at the time.
Yeah.
Now I create it in
now it's like Adobe. What you were using is like equivalent to like Adobe, probably.
Yeah, like I do a lot of, I don't know if you saw my page lately, but I do a lot of AI now. But now it's just,
yeah, I did see that. That's pretty dope. I watched your recent clip you put out.
Yeah. I like to make it so people are like, wait a minute, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but okay, so when you got out, man, I'm curious to just hear, like, how did you get through all of that? Because I know, like, when I went to TRS, I'm sure it was even more trash when you went through it. I went through it in 17, and for me, it was just like, it didn't prepare me for anything, And part of that is because I didn't really even understand it. It's like they teach you all these things, and you're just kind of going through the motions because you're still a Marine. You're like, But a lot of us struggle getting out. And then when you compound our experiences and how that impacted us while we're in, it seems to multiply when we get out, like just the thoughts and we lose our sense of self, like talk to me a little bit about that and how you got through that, brother.
It was hard, man. It was hard because when you went through it in 17, I already had moved to LA. But when I first got out, I enjoyed the time and did the holiday thing with my family and things like that. But I ended up being like, I ended up moving back to Texas and I moved in with my daughter's mom, her man at the time, and my girlfriend.
That's a unique situation.
All together.
Okay.
But I promised myself when I was in Afghanistan that I'll do whatever I need to do to be closer to my daughter. Like, that's in my brain thinking. So I didn't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was by Austin and Round Rock and stuff like that. And then eventually, like, I ended up like moving, and I ended up like running out of money, ended up being like homeless, bro. Like, I didn't know what to do. Yeah. So, and then I ended up moving to LA. And when I moved to LA, I went to the VA and I was just like, yo, I'm homeless. I don't know what to do. I don't have like my place to my own because I was like living with my girl at the time, and it didn't feel, it just felt weird. Like coming out of the Marine Corps, and it was just like here to there, and I was
Yeah.
like, what? And then so I went to the VA. I was like, hey, I need some. You guys have anything, any programs for like Afghan vets? They're like, what do you need? And I said,
Yeah.
me being, I'm quick thinking. I was just like, you're telling me right now, there's a lot of programs that we don't know about as veterans, and you guys got some bennies, and I need some of that. That's
Yeah.
what you just told me.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I need a place to stay. Hey, let's get it cracking. Let's get everything going. All right, we can get a truck, van to pick you up. It's specifically for Iraq, Afghan vets. Everybody's your age, late, mid 20s, 30s. Let's get you in there. And I'm in LA, and then so the place is called Volunteers of America. So if you guys need a place or something, check out Volunteers of America. If you're a veteran, listen to this. Go to go to the VA and check out Volunteers of America. Anyways, I go in this place. It's like a dorm. We're all mid 20s and 30s. And they help you expedite your claim, your VA claim, so you can get your disability. They help you with school, getting all that set up. They help you with mental health and wellness. So if you say you're trying to find a way to kind of cope with things, there's like meditation and yoga and all types of crazy stuff that you can do. But it's basically
No,
like,
that's fire, dude. That's fire.
yeah, the building looks like a schoolhouse, like a upstairs and downstairs type of situation and stuff like that. And so while I was there, I didn't have to pay anything, and they had food, a cupboard, like it was like peanut butter and jelly, and like the essentials, like it wasn't fancy, but you're not gonna go hungry.
You're
And
not gonna starve. Yeah.
yeah, if you went into, and you got 3 meals a day, kitchen closed at a certain amount of time because they didn't want people going, certain times or whatever. But you can get the cereal, you can get a sandwich, and you can get something to eat at night. And a lot of times, the VA would bring or other places or whoever it was would donate hot meals to the place.
Yeah.
So I was spoiled, and then so like they expedited my claim. I ended up getting 100% disability. They actually helped me find a place. I got a refrigerator, a bed, and I was living downtown. I was living in Hollywood, off of Hollywood Boulevard, going to the Los Angeles recording school, learning how to be a music producer and a rapper, and getting back pay for all of my disability claim at the same
For
time.
the year, damn. Or so they only backdated a year now. I don't know if you know that. You
No.
were getting it for 3. That's
No.
fire. Dude.
So you could imagine, bruh.
Yeah.
You could imagine.
That's fire.
I was.
And were you
glossy.
using the GI Bill through
Yes,
that
sir.
through that program? Dang. So you were getting paid on top of that.
So I was getting paid on top of everything, had my back pay, plus I'm walking around Hollywood looking glossy and bossy, bro. Glossy and bossy.
That's nice.
And Hollywood, you gotta look good. You gotta look good out there.
Yeah. It's all about the
look.
perception.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
perception.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You don't have to be rich. You have to look rich.
Yeah, you just gotta look it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, man, is I just recently, well, not recently, probably like about 2 years now, I've been really trying to advocate for veterans, and like that. Your story is incredible, man. I wish I heard more like it, but I think that there's a lot of resources that like we don't know about, I actually just got linked up with this guy who runs this organization in West LA. He feeds homeless veterans like every 4th Monday of the month, something like that. And I'm planning on going down there with my kids, man. And that stuff's really near and dear to my heart. I tell people all the time that I lost more friends to suicide after the war than I did in the war. And that's a problem, bro, and it's just so terrifying to see. And then when I hear stories like yours, when I think, dude, our politicians are so focused on these crazy things, and like it infuriates me. We have homeless people living under a bridge 20 miles from you. If you live in California, you can find a homeless guy who's probably a veteran.
Yep.
And it's like, we're not taking care of our people, bro.
No.
And like, those are my people. I don't give a fuck what you look like, what branch you were in. Like, I remember how tough it was for me getting out, and I had a family depending on me. And the truth is that if I didn't have a family, the difference between me and these homeless guys is one or two bad decisions. That's just the truth.
You mean you probably wouldn't have grinded as hard?
No, exactly, right? I would have been stupid. I would have probably started smoking weed and just like, oh, who cares, whatever, and then you get consumed by that darkness, dude, yeah. So I'm very passionate about that, brother, because our veterans need to be taken care of. So I'm happy to hear. I didn't know that about you, bro. Actually, I didn't
Yeah.
know that you were homeless and you went through all that.
Yeah, I just because the main thing, especially about all this political rhetoric and stuff like that, I don't like to perpetuate or put narratives or tell stories out there that I am a victim of any sort. You know, I grew up. I'm one of 5 kids. Newark, New Jersey used to be a murder capital. Then I moved to Oceanside, California. There's poverty out there as well. We were on welfare growing up, government cheese and stuff like that. So like, and my mom always told me, like, you know, whenever we were on welfare, hey, like this is just a stepping stone and stuff like that. Every single one of my siblings are very successful. They're college educated or leaders in their field. My brother's a doctor. My other brother's a personal trainer. My sister, she's like a Rosie the Riveter. She's in, like, you know, I don't know if you've seen Rosie the Riveter stuff, but she does the metalworking type of stuff.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? And my other brother's, he's studying to be X-ray tech and stuff like that. So like, I don't believe in a whole bunch of like victim narratives and mentality, because the more I talk about it, the more you kind of like become it. But if you go, words of affirmation, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great, I'm a leader, I'm a leader.
That.
You say that, you're focused on that.
Yeah.
You're not focused on, yeah, that happened, you know, boo-hoo, whatever. You know, I could be raised in the hood where there was a Planned Parenthood and a Popeyes and a liquor store. And yes, they put all those things in that area to contain the people there, and, you know, agendas and systematic racism. I could go on and talk about all those like little things, but that's not in my control. But what is in my control is my mind. So I can control my mind, and I can control not to give up and keep going. They want me to be a statistic. They want me to fail. I'm not going to do that. I will never do that. So that's why you don't ever hear me talk about it. I talk about it in music sometimes or whatever, in like a proud way. I'll be like, my mom, single mom, da 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 da. But I don't like to perpetuate like this boo-hoo, woe is me type of situation, or blame the white man, or blame the Mexicans, or blame whoever. I don't like doing that, because for me, it just... Why would I blame somebody who has nothing to do with my upbringing or background? Like, they were born white, just how I was born black. They were born Mexican, just how I was born black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Middle Eastern, Indian, Arab people, all types of stuff. The only thing that you can control, especially in America, is what you do. We are so, especially being overseas. This is one I want to get into. You're probably going to talk about that, but like being overseas and seeing the poverty, when they're hungry, they are actually hungry. They don't want money. They don't want liquor. They want food because their belly is popping out because they're hungry. I've been over to Africa. I've been to other countries. Afghan wanting water, just straight up water, because they don't have good running water. Especially, I was there when they killed Saddam, and they were doing a whole bunch of heinous acts. You know, throwing bodies in the river, in the Euphrates River, and stuff like that. And a little kid came up to me and he asked me for water. He ran into the patrol, which is another whole situation, because, you know, when somebody runs in the patrol, you're supposed to do one or two things. So I had to, you know, it was like, do I want to die, or do I want to take the chance or whatever of somebody running the patrol? And I just trusted, you know, my gut, and I let him come up to me, and he looked up at me and he said water, and his lips were chapped and he was thirsty.
That's all he wanted.
He only wanted water.
Bro.
So when people make excuses, when they say they're victims, when they say woe is me, I just don't want to hear none of that. So that's why you don't hear me perpetuating that. If you ask me, or if it's relevant, I'll tell you. But the only reason I told that story as motivation to my fellow brothers and sisters, hey, listen, those resources are out there for you. Go grab them. Take advantage. You know what I mean? You'll need that disability. If you're like, oh, I don't want to take that disability because I have my 2 legs. We get it. You got your 2 legs, but get the disability, because you never know when you're older, you might be in a situation where your family dies off, unfortunately, hopefully not, knock on wood, where you're going to need that disability later on in life, and when you're not able to take care of yourself. So I encourage the Iraq, Afghanistan, after that, veterans to go get their disabilities and make it happen, because we're not victims, we're victors, and we need to take care of ourselves. And another thing that I think it's BS, this last part of what it's kind of caveat of what you're saying. If we were to take care of our veterans coming back from war, coming out of the service, things like that, we have built-in leaders in our community. If we have built-in leaders in our community, everything else will be taken care of, because those built-in leaders who were taken care of, they're going to be motivated to take care of their community and have more pride in their community, in their cities. And you just made a force multiplier by taking care of those veterans.
Yeah, I say
right. That's all you got to do.
Dude, California has the largest veteran population than any other state. And I try to tell these people this is like, why aren't we taking care of the fact that there's one homeless veteran is enough for me to say, tell all these politicians, fuck you, dude. Stop pandering to me. Take care of the veterans. How about that? Like we should have full access. We should have full information of the resources. Shouldn't have taken you to walk into the VA and say, hey, I need help. It should be in our faces from the time we get out. And like, yeah, it infuriates me, dude. Let me ask you that. I love what you had to say, bro, about not being a victim, because I talk about that a lot. It's funny is I have left-leaning friends, I have right-leaning friends, and the people who say, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I tell them like, dude, you were born and raised in Temecula. Like, it's nice out here. I had to work to get out here. It's like where I'm from, like the most successful guy we knew was like our friend's uncle who was like a UPS worker. You know what I mean? It's like now, I'm a civil engineer. I have a lawyer down the street, like there's an FBI agent that lives down the street from me, and like my kids see that. Where I grew up, there was no lawyer, attorney, doctors around. So for us, it's like our where I was from, I was capitated. You know what I mean? Like I'm only a product of my environment. Exactly. It doesn't seem realistic for me to be a doctor because I don't know nobody around me who are doctors.
Exactly.
So I was curious to know if, do you feel like that mentality was developed through the Marine Corps, or do you feel like that it was you as a person that was able to figure that out?
No, first and foremost is my mom.
I love that.
My mom always told me, hey, like, I don't care what nobody's doing around here. You will pull up your pants. You will wear a belt. No one wants to see your underwear. Like, if you leave the house, you represent me. Things like that. Just, like, no, like like for real. The real is my mom taught me home training. Just straight up home, just respect. Like, yes,
just
sir.
Standard discipline.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Respect. Open the door.
That's
treat
great,
ladies
man.
nice. Wear your pants over your butt. Like, just simple. Like, those were the building blocks. And unfortunately, there were some building blocks that she had to teach me. Like, hey, listen, don't talk too crazy to cops, because there's gonna be a cop who is a bad person. Not all cops are bad, but there are some bad cops who do racially profile, and I know they do, specifically because I've actually had other cops who were not who are like minorities that said, hey, I'm on the force with this guy, and he actually says he profiles and looks for those individuals. So there is bad in every a portion. However, like, I feel like it started with my mom, and then it got it started to come to me more when I started working at Taco Bell, because it started with my mom, then with my stepdad, because he's from the Caribbean, and Caribbean people, they're all about like having multiple jobs and working and hard work and work ethic. And he also paired with his Marine Corps background. And then after that, when I went to school, my teacher was a Marine. And when I went to drafting school, my teacher was a Marine.
That's wild.
And in high school, they voted me most likely to succeed, which is weird. Because I was an artist and I was always drawing and stuff like that. And I innately just had this hustle. And then I was
Isn't it funny how you can look back and see how God's been working on you?
Yeah. And then Taco Bell, it was dope because I got introduced, because being in Oceanside, I got introduced to a lot of Mexicans, and Mexicans work so hard, bro. So it's a fact, bro. Like, they work, they work so hard on Sunday, no. But on you know what I mean, on a Monday through Saturday, they working hard, and then when they off, they go get the little job at Home Depot, and then they relax, but when they party, bro, hey, they say, hey, homie, you want to come over for some party? You want to come over? You got
that,
yeah, and it's
like, and Corona.
Yeah, they tell their daughter, hey, hook him up, like it would be like the TO or whatever. They're like, yo, hook him up. And like in my brain, I think I'm like half Mexican, but like, growing up,
you're from California.
Yeah. So like, I'm carne asada burritos and everything. So like, when people say stuff, I'm just like, man, I don't know if you saw, like, I went viral because of one of my AI clips. It was me being a Marine in LA, and it was like when you're a Marine, but you're conflicted. So I was eating tacos as a black man. So I'm like, what am I supposed to? You guys told me to protect the city, but like her tacos are bomb, bro. You know what I mean? So like it was just like a real moment. It's like people need to understand. Sometimes it's not that political, and you could just like laugh at it, be like, yo, like. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that mango cart, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I get what you're saying, but like, we got to get some of this mango with the tahini on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, do we have to deport her? Can she stay? And so like,
That's hilarious.
so like, I always went through that, but like my motivation came from all of those things, all the cultures, all the mixing pots, all the Mexicans, all the like, and then when I went in the Marine Corps, it just was solidified. It just taught me how to it taught me how to organize all of that. Because I feel like all of that was built up. My childhood, the melting pot, my mom, my stepdad, the Mexicans, all that type of stuff. It was built up, and then it was like Marine Corps was like,
Yeah,
or
yeah, they organized it for
oh, it
you.
just went. That's all. That's all it did. It was because
Yeah.
if you're in the Marine Corps and you're like lazy, you're gonna be lazy. Like I don't know, Marine Corps, it is what you make out of it. But like they teach you how to do it. I mean, can people learn how to be not lazy and be more organized and go getters and stuff? Absolutely, you can learn all those things. Everything I know because of the Marine Corps. Like like that I do now, like how I do even how I do music. I go, oh snap, I'm lost. Nope. What were you supposed to do first? I know you want to do the verse, but you were supposed to do the chorus first. You better do that chorus first. Like literally, I have like a drill instructor on my shoulder telling me the order that you're supposed to do the song in.
That's hilarious.
And
man.
even when I record, like you'll hear my vowels and go, up, let's go. Like that's why I go, let's go. And like if you listen to me, I learned it from all my tones and my voice. I learned it all from the Marine Corps. Like when you hear me say like certain vowels, I use that. And then like when you hear me rap fast, it's the cadence of the M16. Like that. So like listen to all those things I learned it from the Marine Corps. So to answer your question, I said it in a long way, but to answer your question, I didn't learn it from the Marine Corps per se. They just they turned it up.
Yeah,
but it's my family, bro.
Yeah,
and the Mexicans are my family too, because they say you can have carne asada.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's interesting, man. You know, we're getting close to that time, brother. But before we close it out, you know, yesterday we lost, Mr. Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk.
And I don't know. I have a lot of the truth is, bro, I have a lot of hate in my heart after seeing that. You know, it's just
same, bro.
We're not supposed to see that.
No. Oh, you
those
saw the
videos?
Oh, you saw
those
the
videos, bros? Yeah, and it's like I had to tell we had to show my 14-year-old because we already knew that at school they were going to be showing it.
They were going to show it.
Yeah.
So you wanted to do it first.
Yeah, and it just sucks. It's like just as a culture, everyday regular people, you know, I thought I was going to be able to I went to war hoping I'd shelter my kids from a war, you know? And a man was just shot in the neck, bled out in front of everybody.
By his family.
For what? For exercising his free speech, you know?
And we went to go fight for that.
Right. And we went to go fight for that. And it's like, there's so much to it. I feel like, especially for us as veterans, that like regular people don't understand, where it's like, what was the point of me going out there? What was the point of me losing friends? And like my kids don't get the best version of me now because I have my issues. And what was all that for if this is where we're at in our country? You know, it's like, I don't know. It saddens me, man. It just felt very cheap. Everybody was sharing the videos and it's like, dude, this man has a wife and children, you know, and like, you know how, I don't know, man. I don't know if you.
I thought it was disgusting. Well, the thing is like, I don't agree with anybody on anything. I mean, I don't agree with all of anything anyone says. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I have to start first and foremost with that. But I feel like everybody's been saying that on the news and on the reactions and their videos and stuff. But I feel like that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is the fact that this guy was a fellow American, was an individual who every day he served God and his community, his family, and his country.
That's right.
And I was watching an interview with Tucker Carlson. He said he lived that. Like, even when people didn't see it, because Tucker Carlson was a good friend of him and stuff like that. And it's like he lived it. He really was. He literally put God first, and then he was like, "How can I help out my wife and my kids?" And then he wanted to help out the other kids on the college campus. He's like, because he knew that's where it started.
Yeah.
He didn't want them to be he didn't want them to be indoctrinated with things they haven't thought about yet. He wanted to be like, hey, at least think about it. You can keep thinking about things however you want, but at least think about it. And there are some people he actually ended up flipping and turning and stuff. And the main reason why Trump won the election was because of him, because he opened up people's eyes, ears, hearts to a different perspective.
That's right.
Even if they didn't agree with them. There's people who are like, hey, I don't agree with you, but I respect you for having this platform. And it's crazy because I feel like he platformed more people who thought differently than him than thought similar. He promoted the videos of people who thought differently. Yeah, we laughed at some of them because some of the people were dressed funny, and some of the people dressed funny on purpose or whatever, so they can get the airtime, because they knew if you did a Charlie Kirk video, you went viral.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there is a coldness in America at this moment, because it's not just the Charlie Kirk thing. It's the school shooting. It's the killing of the kids at the religious school. There's a Naval Academy shooting that just happened. It just happened.
The girl that got stabbed in the neck.
The girl that got stabbed in the neck. The track stabbing. There's just like certain things that's happened. With people, and they didn't deserve it, and that's not taken away from anything. And I'm not trying to get into the race thing, because there's a guy who answered his door and a policeman shot him, and he was an Air Force guy and a black guy. So like I call out all of them. I called out back in the day. I called out Ahmaud Arbery, because when he was running, and if you're from the hood, it's not weird to see somebody running in Timbs. It's just not. Yeah. Bro, it's not from, and you're East Coast, so like if I see somebody running in Timbs, I don't care. Like I ran in boots myself. I ran in jeans. So like, for example, Ahmaud Arbery, when they stopped him, they killed him, they executed him as well. I felt like that was wrong too. So I just want to make it clear. Like I spoke out. You can check my record. I spoke out on everybody. It doesn't matter, black, white. If you American, you American. And I feel like the message is getting lost on race and all this other stuff. We lost somebody that was very important to our society and to our country when they killed Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was so important because he encouraged diversity of thoughts. He encouraged fearlessness. He encouraged conversation. He encouraged our country to learn and to like research, because think about it. If you know Charlie Kirk is coming in your school and you want to prove him wrong, what are you going to do? You're going to study history.
Yeah.
He initiated that.
Yeah.
Period. Even if somebody who thought different than him wanted to prove him wrong, he at least got them to dig into the history so they could become more educated before they stepped to that mic. He did that.
Right.
And y'all took him away. For what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who I don't agree with, bro, but he didn't deserve that. There's a lot of people who did not deserve it, over this last week or so, and it's sad, and we could keep on covering people. And yes, there's people who die all around the world, but this was a person who was a force multiplier, like how we were saying with the veterans that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
And we did that. So the killing needs to stop. The murdering needs to stop. We need to take better care of our leaders, and it needs to start with people like Charlie Kirk. And that's what I got to say about it.
Yeah. Nah, I appreciate that, brother. And the Marine Rapper, I really appreciate you giving us the time. We went a little bit longer. I hope you don't mind. I'm sure you got a lot going on.
I don't mind.
I really enjoyed our conversation, man. And yeah, dude, God bless you, man. Thanks for coming on. I love everything that you're doing. I know that you probably still go through it and struggle like everybody else, but we're watching, brother, and we're proud of you, man. You as Marine to Marine, I see you, and I'm like, man, that guy's pursuing his passion and living his dream, and I think that's how we're supposed to live. And you're an example for all, not just veterans, dude. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, man, and I'm glad we connected, man. We definitely got to do this again. And if you're a veteran and you're listening out there, the key to success, especially if you're a veteran, is having a purpose. The reason why we feel so alienated after we get out, because when we were in the military, we had a purpose. We knew what we are gonna do from 0430 to 1630, whatever, until liberty and whatever. But because we had a purpose. So if you're out there and you're a veteran and you're lost, find a purpose and then find a group and stick with that and get on a routine and a schedule, and you're gonna be all right. And you can reach out to any of us, especially if you do anything in our field and stuff. And if you don't do anything in my field, there's so many people who, and I don't talk about it because it sounds stupid if you talk about it, when you do something. But if you need somebody to talk to, and you want to get in a profession, if I don't know somebody who does something, like how you said you did civil engineering, if you entertainment, I got you. If it's something, a lawyer, I know people. Acting, I know people. Whatever, I know people. I'm pretty sure he knows people. Everybody, just reach out and ask somebody and be like, hey, do you know somebody I could reach out to? I really want to get into construction. I'm bored. I got my GI Bill, or I got my my disability, but I just got to get my hands and my feet working, and I need some construction job. I don't do that, but I'm pretty sure somebody knows something. You know what I mean?
For sure. Reach out to us over here in PBT for sure.
For sure. We gotta keep that community going and stuff like that. And like,
that's it.
When I back out that way, bro, I would love to come out and like volunteer, when you go down to do
absolutely.
Where
you at now, man?
Right now, currently I'm in Oregon. So
okay.
I'm not far from you right now, but I can actually fly down. It doesn't cost that much or whatever, but like if I know in like a week ahead thing, I'll book the flight and I'll just fly down. It's a day trip for me because I can fly.
I'll reach out to you when I go out there. I think that would be cool, man, especially if you want to get involved with that, because I just want to give back to my community, man, and my people, and help lift them up, and that really is the veterans, especially the war fighters. I think that our generation is very special, and I want to take care of them for the rest of my life. So
it's important, bro. We have to do that. We have to do that because nobody is going to care but us. No one's going to care but us. And nobody. And once we start talking to each other, be like, oh snap, man. When you go, I'm a devil dog. Oh, okay. Say no more.
Yeah.
When Dan hit me up, he said devil dog. I said, okay, we good.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I was like, just do devil dogs talking. You're like, oh, I'm with it.
Yeah. Because you don't have to. What do you got to say, bro? Like.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, brother. Good luck to you in the future. We'll stay in touch, and hopefully we can have you on again.
Same, bro. Man, you have a good one, bro.
You too. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch y'all later.